What is greatness? It's a big question, but in one area of life, at least in one area of life, like sports, it should be easy enough to measure, right? It's about wins and losses, being the best player, the best team, or is it? In the television comedy series Ted Lasso, the character of the same name is an American college football coach hired to lead an English Premier League football club. That's football as in soccer, the beautiful game, not the gridiron. Never mind that he knows nothing about soccer, and he's never coached it at any level at all. He's completely out of his element and seemingly out of his league. But while he may not know much about soccer, he does know how to coach. The thing about Ted is that as much as he enjoys sports, his main passion is in coaching people, not players. As he says, for me, success is not about the wins and the losses. It's about helping these young fellows become the best versions of themselves on and off the field. Ted's hardest coaching project is a young phenom named Jamie Tart. Jamie is very, very sure of himself. Ted, hearing that Jamie's girlfriend has to choose which animal will inspire her next fashion shoot, asks the player, "What would you rather be, a panda or a lion?" To which Jamie responds, "Coach, I'm me. Why would I want to be anything else?" To which Ted responds, "You know, Jamie, I'm not sure if you realize just how psychologically healthy that actually is." But Jamie's self-assuredness is usually manifested as arrogance. Jamie knows that he is a great player. He knows that he's great looking, and he knows that he's going to get whatever he wants. He's so sure of himself that later on he quits football to become a reality TV star, only to fizzle after a few episodes. Don't worry, he does come back to football and regains his star power. Another sermon for another day, perhaps. But before all that happens, Ted has a conversation with Jamie after a crushing loss, one in which Jamie scored the only goal for his side, AFC Richmond. According to the pundits, the young star seems to be the only thing Richmond has going for it. But Ted knows that the rest of his athletes just need to have the right context in which to shine. And that includes their star player, that includes their star being more of a team player than a prima donna. So Ted begins this conversation by saying to Jamie, "I can honestly say that you are the best athlete I've ever coached." Disarmed, Jamie seems uncharacteristically bashful and grateful for the compliment, perhaps foreshadowing what the show will later bring to light, that his arrogance masks deep insecurities and family trauma. Jamie responds, "Yeah, I work hard, yeah." Ted says, "I see it. You are truly great at everything you do out there, except for one thing. Jamie, I think that you might be so sure that you're 1 in a million that sometimes you forget that out there, you're 1 of 11. If you just figure out some way to make that me into us, the sky's the limit for you." What is greatness? What makes a person great? These are the questions at the heart of today's gospel reading. As the scene today opens, James and John confidently stride forward, probably as self-assured as Jamie Tart and Ted Lasso. Certainly their words/demands to Jesus, it's pretty cocky. "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." Wow, that's bold, isn't it? One wonders just exactly how Jesus received these words. All we have to work with in terms of understanding Jesus' state of mind is his response, which is very calm and maybe even a little compliant. "What is it you want me to do for you?" But I wonder whether Jesus was just a little bit angry or maybe disappointed or maybe even amused. But whatever his emotions were, I can imagine that he was thinking something along the lines of, all right, I want to see how this plays out. What comes next reveals that James and John are just not as clued into Jesus' message as they think they are. Like many of Jesus' followers and many others in Palestine at that time, they hoped for an end to the occupation of their land. They hoped for a Messiah to unite the Jewish people and overthrow the Roman Empire. They thought that Jesus would be that kind of Messiah, that he would be that kind of king. And when he would take his throne to rule over victorious Israel, they wanted to be there right beside him. So in anticipation of the day when he would establish his great kingdom, James and John ask him, grant us to sit, one at your right hand and one at your left, in your glory. The image evokes a king on his throne, surrounded by his most trusted and powerful advisors. James and John, though, they just don't have any idea what kind of king Jesus will actually be. And so Jesus invites them to reconsider their notions of greatness. Jesus tells them that in the world, rulers act like gods. They lord it over the people, and the great ones are tyrants. But he tells them that in his kingdom, things are going to be different. It is not so among you, but whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant. Jesus redefines greatness and invites us to realign our priorities. Greatness is not about being in charge. It's not about being out in front, shining in glory, as James and John desire. Greatness, instead, is about living for more than ourselves. It's about accomplishing great things together for the sake of the least among us, for the sake of the whole community and the whole world. This realignment of greatness is one of the most central teachings of Jesus. Jesus reversed things. Jesus turned things upside down and around and transformed them. And this church, at its best, has tried to do the same. Jesus came among us as a lowly tradesperson to speak truth to both the powerful and the weak alike, to serve all, and to give his life for the sake of the world. Whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant. Greatness is not measured by the things that the world counts as greatness, in scoring a lot of goals, in winning political victories, in making a lot of money. Instead, greatness is measured by how well we serve one another, how much we give of ourselves for one another, how much we love one another. That's why today we're asking you, the Stewardship Committee is asking you to reflect on another question as we build our tree here. On the leaf cutouts you've been given, we invite you to answer the following question in a word: what is the gift that Trinity gives to the world? William Temple, Archbishop of Canterbury in the mid-20th century, wrote, "The church exists primarily for the sake of those who are still outside of it." In other words, we are more like a hospital than a private club. We are here to serve the people who come here for whatever needs they might have, physical, spiritual, etc., just like a hospital. We're here to be transformed personally so that then we can go out and participate in the transforming of our community and our world. Twice in the past week, I've had a conversation at a community event, both of which were in Red Bank, actually, not in Asbury Park, in which someone remarked that they see Trinity everywhere they turn in the community, and they hear about Trinity's work, not only in Asbury Park, but around Monmouth County. These conversations made me proud, of course, not because we're being noticed for the sake of it, but because we are following in Jesus' words to serve rather than be served. Even here in our offerings, primarily for the congregation, we're always striving to widen the circle, make the circle wider, to make sure everyone has a place at the table. And if you would like to join the circle of caring, there are many ways to serve. Just by being here today, you're starting that. That's the most important step. And then if you want to get a little more involved, there's so many ways to serve. The food pantry, the Saturday Soup community meal, financial empowerment coaching, and Code Blue. Code Blue is coming up. We're going to need a lot of help with Code Blue. This is the program when we open the doors and welcome in those without shelter on nights when temperatures drop below freezing. It's a big project, and honestly, it's pretty overwhelming to organize and run, but it is definitely some of the best ministry we do here because it literally saves lives, having a place to be in the cold. We also go beyond this campus and serve beyond our community, beyond our county even. We're a founding congregation of Episcopal Community Services of New Jersey, which funds outreach projects at congregations around the diocese. We've advocated and we continue to advocate for people and causes in different parts of the world. Our ceasefire letter writing campaign, for example. And some of us have been exploring a partnership with Cristosal, an Episcopal-founded human rights organization in Central America. And in fact, there's a reflection in today's insert written by Adrienne about what she's learned about Cristosal recently. The motto of one of the most lovable players in Ted Lasso, the TV series, is football is life. If football is a stand-in for the teamwork of being a part of the whole human family, then I can get on board with that. And as Ted, the coach, said to a wayward young player, if you just figure out some way to turn that me into us, the sky's the limit for you. Or we might say, in other words, would you rather be on the right hand or the left hand of glory? How psychologically and spiritually healthy would it be if we could respond to that question with, Coach, I'm me, a child of God among this human family, the people of God. Why would I want to be anything else? Amen.